Brilliance Audio presents Soho Angel by Greg Keane, performed by Simon Vance. O.C. Trace and Find was often approached to find a missing family member. Usually a couple of photographs and a description of the subject accompanied the briefing. In Emily Ridley's case, neither photos nor description were necessary. Half the nation knew when and, more significantly, with whom she had disappeared. Emily's mother was sitting on one of the office sofas. On its opposite number were perched O'Deary and myself. The proprietor of O.C. Trace and Find had discarded the tracksuit he habitually wore for a double-breasted grey suit. The wall clock read 8:15. I had a hell of a headache, made unusual by the fact that alcohol hadn't passed my lips in 6 days. I sipped a lukewarm Nescafe and focused on the conversation.
"What exactly were you hoping for as a result of the investigation, Mrs. Ridley?" O'Deary asked. "Several organisations have attempted to locate Emily over the years."
Pam Ridley had short iron-grey hair and a face latticed with lines and creases. She replied in an accent forged in one of the less fashionable London boroughs.
"They've tried to locate Castor Greaves. He was famous. Him wasn't. I want to know what happened to her, that's all."
"You think that your daughter may still be alive?"
Pam Ridley shook her head.
"She'd have found a way to let me know if she was, especially when her dad died. I want you to find out where she is."
O'Deary nodded. The fat man was usually up for taking any job that paid the daily rate. I could understand his reluctance over this one. The chances of finding Emily Ridley in any condition after 22 years were slim, and her mother didn't look like a woman with the resources to fund a lengthy investigation.
"I've got the cash, if that's what you're worried about," she said, as though reading my mind. "Uncle Rory left me a packet in his will."
"I think Mr. Charles was more thinking about the likelihood of a successful outcome," I said, making my first proper contribution to proceedings. "Emily was last seen in 1995, Mrs. Ridley. If missing people don't turn up within the first 6 months, they frequently don't turn up at all." Pam Ridley's mouth tightened and she folded her arms.
"If you don't want my money, then there's those that do," she said,
a comment that focused O'Deary's mind immediately.
"We're not saying that we don't want to help, Mrs. Ridley," he said, giving me a sideways look. "Just that we're trying to understand your specific goals."
"Well, you know now. Are you up for it or what?"
"Of course. We'll give you a new client form and take a retainer at the end of our meeting. As a matter of interest, what made you decide to approach O.C. Trace and Find?"
Pam nodded in my direction.
"Kenny found that girl who went missing a couple of years ago," she said, "and he sussed who killed Blimp Baxter."
Although they had brought a fair degree of press interest, the cases in question hadn't been unqualified successes. This was a fact that Pam Ridley had overlooked, or was determined enough to ignore.
"You haven't had any contact with your daughter whatsoever since she was last seen at the Emporium Club in Archer Street on the,
O'Deary consulted his notes. "On the night of 19th July 1995?
"Nope, nothing at all."
"What about the alleged sightings of Castor and Emily?"
"They're bogus."
"There have been several photographs. The one in Goa did bear a very strong—"
"Have either of you got kids?"
Pam interrupted. O'Deary and I shook our heads in unison.
"Well, the thing is that you've got a bond with them. When it's gone, when they've gone, you feel it in your guts."
As if to emphasise the point, Pam Ridley patted her midriff.
"I knew that night something had happened to Em, without being told," she said, "and that I weren't going to see her again, leastways not alive.